superb start, but Sheen is trying. You can see him on the tank. And Haslam moves over to the right-hand side of the track, and Haslam is going to lead with Sheen in second place. McElney goes round the outside, so Rob McElney there is the picture. Wayne Gardner's fourth, so that really is an excellent start for the men in contention. Haslam, the man who leads the championship, is the man in front. Barry Sheen is in second place, Rob McElney is third, and Wayne Gardner, who took a tumble in practice this morning, and Sheen goes through. Sheen has taken the lead. Barry Sheen is in front. Ron Haslam has got a fight on his hands, but of course Haslam doesn't have to win the title. And sad news is that poor old Roger Burnett with the nicer Suzuki had a problem at the start and has failed to make the race. The young man who's doing so well in the European Championships. This man, though, has done it all in the Grand Prix. And the man that I thought was Wayne Gardner was, in fact, Roger Marshall, I think, Peter.
Yes, it's Wayne Gardner's back in 7th place, and that's Roger Marshall in 4th behind McElney, with Sheen leading and Haslam second as they break into the chicane. And that's cement dust lying on the track. Sheen pointed out a slippery patch, and the marshals have put the cement dust to dry it up.
The end of the first lap with Sheen leading from Haslam and McElney, and Haslam going for the inside line. Sheen traditionally goes wide. He goes across the front of Haslam. Sheen in command. Haslam second, McElney third. Paul Lewis is up to fourth. Roger Marshall is now in 5th place. In 6th spot is Mick Grant, and in 7th position is number 8, Wayne Gardner, who qualified down in 21st place. And that was, of course, after taking the tumble and having the second machine seized during the opening practice session. Sheen, the race leader. This is the second of 18 laps. And Sheen, of course, vigorously denying that this will be his last race. Haslam second, McElney third. And some of the best riders in Europe in action here today. Sheen and Haslam. Sheen, of course, finishing 6th in the World Championship table behind Haslam. Haslam second, McElney third. Lewis is 4th. In 5th place, Mick Grant.
And Haslam takes the lead.
In fact, Sheen goes through on the inside. A remarkable piece of riding, and these two men, great friends as well as great rivals. Barry, a regular visitor into the Haslam motorhome this year on the Grand Prix Trail. Sheen then battling away with Haslam. And of course, Haslam in this position would collect 12 more points. He's got a 6-point lead over Gardner at the moment, so Haslam still very much on target to clinch the World of Sport Challenge. Sheen, 34 years of age on September the 11th. Haslam, 28 years old. And Rob McElney, Paul Lewis, Roger Marshall, Mick Grant. And behind Mick Grant, of course, was Wayne Gardner. And another change, because Haslam has gone in front. Out breaks Barry Sheen. And this is the end of the third lap. 15 more laps to go. Haslam in front, Sheen second, McElney third. And Rob McElney, of course, the man in third place, is the young man that the Heron Suzuki is concerned to believe is the man that will take over where Sheen left off.
And this bike, very exciting, number 19. It's the aluminium monocoque frame produced by the Superbikes in Heron in England. It's a aluminium honeycomb with aluminium sheets either side. A real space-age development, this number 19, ridden by Rob McElney.
And Sheen pressurising Haslam. There's McElney in third spot. And Sheen right in the tyre tracks of Haslam. Haslam knees skimming the ground as they come out of McLean's down the back straight underneath the Dunlop Bridge. into the chicane again. They'll have completed 4 laps this time.
Haslam making tremendous use of the Works 3-cylinder Honda. It's a buck of Works machines run by the factory from Japan.
And Gardner is up into 4th place. Wayne Gardner is 4th, and he's just 4 seconds behind Ron Haslam. Gardner, who took a tumble at San Marino in practice. He broke some fingers. And the doctor there at the track stopped him, and you can see Gardner trying very hard to close on those 3 men ahead of him.
And Gardner, he's using the production version of the Honda. That's run by Honda in Britain, not quite as powerful as the machine ridden by Ron Haslam, but very, very close.
That's Wayne Gardner, the Humberside-based Australian, very stylish rider. And Roger Marshall goes ahead of Paul Lewis. And there's the gap. First 3 safely through. There's Gardner into the chicane hard, then Marshall, then Lewis, then Mick Grant.
And Gardner obviously taking his time in the first few laps. He had a very disrupted practice, and there's probably a few things he had to sort out with the machine and be certain of the tyre performance and the machine performance before he's got his head down and chasing Sheen and Haslam in front.
Well, that chase at the moment is in vain, because Haslam is stretching the advantage between himself and Gardner in 4th place. Gardner, of course, the only man, or in fact one of the 2 men who could have caught him, because Roger Marshall won 16 points with 15 would go to 31. But Gardner now 4.8 seconds behind Haslam, and Haslam about 3 or 4 machines length, if that, ahead of Barry Sheen.
And Haslam may be in front, but Sheen is there every inch of the way, and he's sort of a wily old campaigner. He's testing to see which parts of the circuit Ron is quickest, and he's getting right in the slipstream with the Honda now down the straight.
Trevor Nation, another man to retire.
And that's Wayne Gardner in 4th place, number 8, through the chicane to end lap 9.
This is the halfway stage. Gardner has 9 more laps ahead of him to catch and pass Haslam and Sheen. And he's also got to hope that somebody else does that as well, because if Haslam finishes in the first 3, then Haslam is going to be the champion.
And I think I saw Wayne Gardner point down to his front wheel as he flashed past the pits. Maybe that's a problem. And Sheen is in the lead.
Sheen back in front, and Mick Grant, another man to pull out. Mick Grant has gone into the pits, so more changes. A quick look at the leaderboard. Sheen out in front, Haslam in 2nd place, Rob McElhenney 3rd, Wayne Gardner is 4th. In 5th position is Paul Lewis, 6th Roger Marshall, 7th is Steve Parrish, and in 8th place was Mick Grant, but up there goes Mark Sal. And Haslam again showing that the Honda is quicker down the back straight, uses the acceleration, the power, the performance of the Honda to go through, lays the bike almost on its side coming through the chicane. Really is a beautiful, exciting rider to watch, Ron Haslam. 10 laps gone now, 8 more to go.
And this is the furthest we've seen Ron get away. It's about 5-6 lengths. Maybe he's decided to try and make a snap break for it and get away from Sheen and not allow him to slipstream him down the straight anymore.
Well, we shall soon see whether those tactics work. And it doesn't appear to be working at the moment, because there is Barry Sheen right in the slipstream of Ron Haslam now. Whether Ron will be able to just be far enough away from Sheen to open up the gap down the back straight. What do you think, Peter?
Well, Barry's obviously going to try and run up right behind him in this corner to get right on the tail of the Honda, to let the Honda push the air away down the straight and make life easier for his Suzuki. He's barely there. It's not really slipstreaming distance, and Ron is getting away fractionally down the straight.
But Sheen closes, of course, on braking. Haslam through the chicane again. 11 laps gone, 7 more to go. Haslam from Sheen. Half a second, that's the gap. And Haslam again with that 7 or 8 machines length advantage at Hollywood. Down through Craner Curve.
And Sheen closing up again, right down behind the screen of the Suzuki.
Well, if this is what happens to Barry Sheen every time somebody says he's going to retire, maybe we ought to say it more often, Peter.
Yes, he's certainly stirred into action, isn't he? Riding superbly.
Because, make no mistake, Ron Haslam is a man very much on form. He's been one of the top 4 or 5 riders in the world several times this season. Haslam at Easter really providing the only serious challenge for the British and Commonwealth team. 15 laps gone, 3 more to go. Sheen acknowledges the signal.
And has he got something in reserve? This is always possible. He may not have shown his hand. He could have a little bit of extra speed or a little bit of cornering ability left, and he's been conserving himself to the end. Well, let's hope so. I'd love to see a last lap battle between the two.
Well, absolutely, but Haslam appears now to have stretched the advantage just a little bit.
But this is a man getting in the way in the middle of the corner, just what Ron doesn't want. And this Donington Park circuit, it's all curves around the back of the track, and you cannot pick any easy place to pass a tail ender. Ron has to try and weigh up as he approaches to encompass them in his line, because there's no straight at which he can just blast past.
No change then in the top 6 positions. But that battle between Marshall and Lewis is taking them closer and closer to Wayne Gardner. And Gardner, of course, now is beginning to wave goodbye to his chances of winning the World of Sport Superbike Challenge. Haslam with a 6-point advantage over Gardner. And there's another man who's going to make life that much more difficult for Sheen to close on Haslam. 16 laps gone, 2 more laps to go. Barry's still trying, chin on the tank. You know when Barry Sheen's trying, because he gets down behind the bubble.
And it's just a little bit of a lottery to see who meets the tail enders in the next lap.
And the gap over a second now between Haslam and Sheen. And you can see visibly the gap widening there. Sheen will try hard. He would dearly love to win here, and so would his countless fans. But of course, Ron Haslam is the local boy, and for every Sheen enthusiast here, there's a Ron Haslam man as well. And just 2 seconds now, the gap between Wayne Gardner and Roger Marshall as they battle for 4th and 5th place. And Sheen a little bit closer, but I don't think it's close enough. You can see the gap, and we know that the Honda is quicker down the back straight. Coming into the chicane. 17 laps. This is the last lap. Sheen is a little bit closer, 0.8 of a second. He's pulled back more than a 1/5 of a second. And Sheen is getting closer, but he's got an awful lot of work to do, because Ron Haslam knows Donington.
And there seems to be a clear road in front of them. It doesn't look as though there's a tail ender on the horizon that could make the difference.
Last lap. Haslam trying hard, and so too is Barry Sheen. And the gap between Wayne Gardner and Roger Marshall now just to 1 second. That's the battle for 4th and 5th place, but this is the one that matters. It's the battle for the lead.
Sheen's got to make up those last 4 lengths through this corner. It's a tall order, but he's claiming on Haslam.
Sheen is closing, but we know that the Honda is quicker down the back straight, and Ron Haslam looks over his shoulder. He winds up the Honda. He's going to do it, I think. Sheen trying, Sheen braking hard, coming in very quickly for a sprint to the line. And Haslam, look, and it's close, so close.
And did Sheen win it?
Well, that was side by side. Who won it? Well, we shall just have to wait and see. Sheen did it perfectly. I think Haslam won it by the narrowest of whiskers, but what a great race from two of the finest riders in Britain. Ron Haslam then, and Barry Sheen, and thumbs up, they shake hands. Well, we shall have a chance now to see, and here's the finish. We're looking for this white line. Who is it going to be? Well, I would have said a dead heat almost, but we shall have to wait for the timekeepers and the judges. They're directly in line. Was it Haslam? Was it Sheen? Well, we should just have to wait and find out. Haslam and Sheen, but whatever the result, of course, Haslam, the winner of the World of Sport Superbike Challenge. In third place, Rob McElhenney. Fourth, just fourth, was Wayne Gardner. Fifth was Roger Marshall. Sixth was Paul Lewis. Seventh was Steve Parrish. Eighth was Graham Wood. Ninth was Mark Sal. And in 10th place was number 41, Mark Ordich. So, was it Sheen? Was it Haslam? We're still waiting to hear from the timekeepers. And Sheen waving to his fans around the circuit.
It was an absolutely sensational late-minute braking manoeuvre of Sheen there. It was very tricky with the cement dust in the chicane, and yet he went through the corner very quickly, got the power on, and as Ron's front wheel came up, Sheen kept his weight on the tank and accelerated to catch him crossing the line.
A superb finish, a superb race, and all credit to both men, both to Ron Haslam and Barry Sheen. And the two men back to the start line. A tremendous crowd of enthusiasts, and Ron's mechanics, and somewhere in that lot we've got a cameraman, and he'll be fighting his way through to see Barry and Ron.
And we hear unofficially that it's Haslam by a wheel, but of course until the actual timekeepers get their own results out, we can't be certain on that. So it looks as though Ron may have won the race by the narrowest of margins.
Wait a minute. No, he's trying to free some cable.
And Ron Haslam down in the middle.
And what's almost equally certain is that neither of them know who's won.
Well, Haslam looking bemused. I'm sure he doesn't know. A big smile there from Ron. Well, as I say, I'm not sure he knows whether he's won or not. There's a garland, the winner's garland over his neck, whether that's for the trophy. And there's Barry Sheen just talking through that last lap. So, Sheen, what a remarkable ride, superb performance from Barry. Both men with winners' garlands on. So maybe that means we've got a double winner. I don't really know, but as I say, we're still waiting to hear from the timekeepers. So, Sheen and Haslam chatting amongst themselves.
Okay.
And so down to Jim Rosenthal.
Gentlemen, what a
on
great
the grid.
race. First of all, Ron, what a dice you had with this fellow here.
Oh yeah, fantastic, race with him. It's same as he just says, it's just like back to the olden days now, when we used to relay some good battles.
The lad said, Barry, in commentary, perhaps people should write you're going to retire every day, because you certainly pulled out your best here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't because of that. It's just that the bike's really going good now and it's set up really nicely. As Ron says, he and I used to race together a hell of a lot, and it was just like 10 years ago. Yeah, really good fun.
Ron, how much does it mean to you to win this title?
Oh, it means a lot, everything. I've been doing the Grand Prix all year, and to come back and win the titles, it's fantastic. But now the biggest race is trying to get a sponsor for next year, so I can do the Grand Prix again.
Well, I'm sure this race will have done you no harm at all. You've given us some magnificent entertainment, both of you. Well done, thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, cheers.
Ron Haslam has won it with 45 points. Wayne Gardner in second place with 32, and Roger Marshall in third with 22. All